vibing on the public face, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They done drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Wakenham. And since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by that.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su.
Basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Good night. Don't know where to start, don't know what to do, don't know what to tell you guys. I'm just tempted to be like those who are supposed to be talking, those who are supposed to be doing, but aren't doing. And so what I'm going to do tonight is for 1 hour, I'm going to sit here and just read your comments. That's all. If you agree with me on that position, then you can just make your comment in the comment section. But in the meantime, you can share the link. I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to sit here and read your comments. I'm not going to do anything. Nothing. I want to be like some of those politicians back in Guyana who should be standing up, who should be speaking out, and who should be representing your interest. They wait until things happen before all of them rush out to pretend as though they're doing something. Things happen every day and they're quiet. And they just jump on bandwagon to do things in order to make it appear that they're doing things. They should be fighting every day. Every single day, people's rights are being violated in that country. Every single day. And most of them stay quiet. But they jump on the bandwagon whenever the camera, their lights, cameras, action, that's when they do. So look, guess what? I'm going to sit right here all night. All night. Well, for 1 hour, I'm going to sit here. What's the time? We still get another 45 minutes more. That's it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to read your comments. Somebody said good night. Leslie Hamilton said talk, Mark. Y'all tell those politicians back there to talk. Tell those politicians back in Guyana to say something, to do something. I'm going to sit here all night. All night I'm going to sit right here. I ain't got nothing to say. All night. If you agree with me, just say yes. If you don't, then tell me to talk. Tell me to say something. Umar Saeed says he agrees with me 100%. To sit here and don't say nothing. I ain't saying nothing. I'm not going to talk about the corrupt PPP regime. I'm not going to talk about the racist PPP regime. I'm not going to talk about the undemocratic PPP regime. I'm just going to sit right here. I'm not going to tell you guys anything as to what they're doing to those individuals that they're persecuting. I'm not going to tell you guys about their attacks on the judiciary, judges and magistrates. I'm not going to tell you guys anything. I'm not going to talk about anything. I'm not going to talk about the corrupt police force. I'm just not going to talk about anything. I'm just going to sit here and read your comments. I'm just not going to talk about anything because those who are back in Guyana should be doing their work. They're not doing their work. I'm not going to talk about this guy. Folks, take a look at Mark Phillips. They say that he's the Prime Minister of Guyana. Nigel Eliakim is my guest this evening. Apostle Nigel Eliakim. He's my guest this evening. All the way from Linden. Maybe he's originally from Poker Street. But this guy, who is said to be the Prime Minister of Guyana, he claims that he's from Poker Street. But those of you who are originally from Poker Street, whenever you see this guy in Linden, change the name from Poker Street just for that day that he's in Linden to Joker Street. Because this Kunu Munu cannot be from Poker Street. I know strong men. Well, I don't want to sound like Didi when I say strong men. I'm sorry about that, guys. Sorry. Lots of problems around the world, man. They get Didi, they get all sort of things. Johnson & Johnson, Barrett & Barrett, and all sort of things happening. But anyways, my name is Mark Benchap. Welcome to Straight Up this evening. I'm a little late, 5 minutes late or so. We have lots of things to talk about. And Apostle Nigel London is with us this evening. He's a busy guy. This guy is so busy, he might as well go and sit in the seat of the leader of the opposition, because we're seeing more of Nigel Eliakim, Apostle Nigel, and others than we're seeing about the opposition leader. I know some of you bums gonna raise because it's like, oh no, you shouldn't talk about Aubrey. He's doing such a great job. Oh my gosh, Mark, shut up. Shut up, Mark, before we send ASP Singh with a little plastic bag with some marijuana to put by you. Where is it? Where is Ben Sharp's grandmother? 87-year-old grandmother. We're going to send ASP Singh on him. Oh, yeah. All these things, right? You got to speak. We got to speak up. We cannot have people here. We cannot. I see reporter Ray say, yes, Mr. Norton is doing a great job. Nobody's saying, look, I know some of y'all bums gonna raise. I know y'all bums gonna raise, right? When was the last time you guys actually saw the opposition leader confront an issue at a press conference? Oh, shut up, Mark, shut up. Shut up. You can't say those things. Roberta Ray bumps raise. Brenda Casey bumps raise. Some of y'all bumps gonna raise because y'all don't want to hear nothing. Oh no, Aubrey's such a strong and competent opposition leader, right? Yeah, some of y'all gonna look for me. But are they here waiting for y'all? All of we bums gonna raise tonight. All of us, including Apostle Nigel Eliakim. His bums gonna raise too. Good night to you, sir. When was the last time you saw the opposition leader of Guyana? Let's get straight
Greetings
to
to you. Greetings to you. Thank you for having me here. I can't tell the last day I saw him in person or out in the street dealing with any matter that speaks to opposing the actions of the administration. So maybe I missed something somewhere along the line.
Maybe I missed something somewhere along the line too. I know, no, you get one and two of his support. Oh, he's doing a great job. They're not being objective. Their bumps raised. Right now, their bumps raised. Their bumps raised. I noticed Brenda Casey, and good night to you, Miss Casey. Brenda Casey say he was in the United States of America. Okay, for 3 weeks. Okay, we didn't hear nothing. But the people in Linden suffering, flooding, no compensation, no nothing. Apostle, let's get straight to business, my friend. What is happening in Linden?
Thank you for asking, and as always, I'm certainly grateful for being here with you and with those who are on 107.1 FM. Linden is faced with the usual challenge, but it's been more or less intensified. As we speak, there's a road called Avenue of Republic. It's where you should be a Linden man, right by Mackenzie Sports Club. The Mackenzie police station is on the other side of that road. Someone got a contract to do, let's say about 200 meters or so of drains, about 100 plus meters of drains. And when it rained, brand new, it hasn't lasted maybe a week yet. The drain has collapsed. What is concerning to me, and I know on this platform you're able to raise many matters that many people may be afraid to touch. I'm hearing, but I'm yet to have this verified, but I'm hearing it very often.
I know what you're going to say, the Tom Clark.
Okay, then.
See, I read your mind right there. The Tom Clark is alleged to be the contractor getting millions and millions of dollars.
We need to know.
Work in Linden.
We need to know. Additionally, flooding has become, and of course, we live in the hilly sand and clay belt region, so we're not accustomed to this happening. But we're having floods very often, and within 10 to 15 minutes of rain, the heavy downpour, Silvertown is flooded. Last night, or night before last night, Watuka was flooded, which is most unusual. A part of Watuka, the main road was called Casuarina Drive. That has never happened in over 40 plus years of my being here. It has never happened. And this has happened now. So we have got people in Linden who are receiving major contracts, not just allegedly town clerk, whatever, but people are just getting them to do things they don't even know.
Honorable Nigel Eliakim, wait a minute. Let's not just this cronies of the PPP regime, flatfoot hustlers of the PPP regime, who have no experience in contracting work or nothing. They are the ones who are receiving hundreds of millions of dollars, including allege, the town clerk or the town clown, however they want to describe him, he is also dabbling in the crumbs of the PPP regime. He has suddenly become, according to information, mind you, he has to come out and say whether he is receiving millions upon millions of dollars to do shabby work. And then you get your friends them from Kashif and Shanghai. They got a contract of over $300 million to finish up Bamia Primary School. What's the status on that, please? What is the status on that? Talk to us. You're right there in Linden.
That school may not be finished. Thank you. That school may not be finished in 6 months. There's a lot of work to be done. The cry from the foreman is that they do not have the required skilled men to complete the job.
I hate to be cutting into you. You know, I've never done that. The foreman talking about they do not have skills. The foreman doesn't have skills. That is the same foreman that was a guy oil and allegations of corruption upon corruption that he had to resign. He's the foreman. You're talking about that guy Blair?
That's the same man. So he's saying that's okay. They don't have the skilled men required to get the job done. So apparently, whenever they get the skilled men, that's when the school be completed. So school is reopened, nothing. And I don't know if it happened in any other part of the country, but here in Region 10 in Linden, the regional executive officer, Dwight John, played a very, very good card, well, good in their eyes, where the teachers were on strike for 75 days. Then school was closed for what, 50 plus days, 2 months? Do you know that for over 100 days, they did nothing in terms of repairs to schools? And then in the last 3 or 4 days before school reopened, you had what they call emergency repairs. Now, we know what happens. You don't have to bid for it. There's no tendering or anything because it's an emergency. So for 100 plus days, they did nothing. And then many schools in Linden, including Watukude Primary School and others, they're now rushing to get work done. And by the way, viewers, Watukude Primary School had to be closed for 2 days. 2 days. Today and tomorrow, because the contractor hasn't finished his work in reference to paving. And it may not be open on Monday either. After 100 plus days.
But what is happening to be, why are these issues being properly addressed? And let us get back to that primary school that's depriving hundreds of young people and punishing parents who have to pay extra money to send these kids far off to other schools. We haven't heard a word. The last time we heard that the school was going to be ready for April 1st. And the minute we heard of that day, April 1st, we already know that it's just Fool's Day, April Fool's Day. But what is the real problem and why are these issues being addressed by those in Linden and those outside of Linden? This is a serious concern that a school has taken over 2 years to be built, cost over 300, maybe close to $400 million because they're going to go back and ask for more money upon more money. But how much is that affecting the community and more so young people?
It is affecting them significantly. And what I'm concerned about is the fact that parents are not coming out in protest to say, well, when will this school be ready for our children? Because the other schools that are dilapidated, their children are being scattered all across the place. And that school was built to house over 800 students. Not even one can pass the gate now. It has no fencing, nothing. So we have to raise the concern as to why are the parents so inactive and so quiet, and why are certain key members of parliament so quiet about this matter? We don't just want a passing statement. This is where taxpayers' money would have been spent and is being spent, and you're not getting the product that was promised. The contractor, the key man, Kashif Mohammed, you're not hearing from him. These people are being brought to the fore when we have an education committee in the RDC here, Regional Democratic Council, who is saddled with the responsibility of bringing us information and holding them accountable. We're not hearing from these people as often as we should, if at all, in recent past. So I don't know what's going on with the silence, but it's certainly deafening here in Linden. And there are teachers who I know have made requests to be transferred or redeployed because of the way they live, say, can we work in this area? They were promised, some of them, yes, you'll be able to get to the school, and they can't go either. So the cost of transportation, people don't know this in some cases, could be as $20,000 or $30,000 per month for some teachers when they barely earn $180,000 because they have to get a special car to take them to school. If they try taking the bus because of the bridge issue, they'll be late every single day. That's what we're dealing with in Linden, and it doesn't seem to strike a chord in certain one of our members of parliament.
Nobody. Well, both of them. They're two members of parliament out there, and both of them are quiet on the issue. But one is more concerned about speaking up and defending persons who are protesting. The enablers in New York City seem to be dabbling in outside business and less about internal matters there in Linden. Speaking of enablers, there is a protest in front of, I believe, in Brooklyn next week. We'll give you more information on that. The enablers must not be they must not be able to stay comfortable while they entertain the oppressors and so forth in Brooklyn. It's just not going to happen. We're watching the enablers, quite a few of them, and even on Labor Day, next Labor Day, I'm taking a couple of trucks there, and people are going to jump behind that truck, because once you have, that's Labor Day, and I'm speaking, you guys know the enablers I'm talking about. Once you have a truck on Labor Day on the parkway, people are going to be there. That is not a strength of an individual. It is a strength of what has been the case for over 40 years on the parkway. Even if you take a jackass cart, a donkey cart as we call it, and put it on the parkway and play music, people are going to go behind that. I'll talk about that some other time, but let's not stray away from the issue. Shanghai is pretty quiet. Shanghai, if you're watching, what's going on there, Shanghai? $300+ million, and y'all ain't doing anything, and y'all call yourself Lindeners and depriving over 800 young people. 800 young people y'all are depriving, and y'all are the first people to run out and say that the opposition, and you know how Shanghai song, right? Look, they've been doing nothing. I don't know what Shanghai is. He originally from Linden. 800 people, Shanghai. If you guys are watching, 800 young students in Linden, y'all depriving. Talk about that. I know you want to say something, Apostle. And this is not mocking people, but that's Shanghai. Right?
No, that's fine. What we have to call into question is, how much do the people who claim that the PPP is doing so much for Linden, how much do those people care about Linden? I'm talking about the Lindeners like Kashif and Shanghai and all those people. How much do you care about your town, honestly speaking? If you would allow something like this, among many other atrocities, to play out the way it does, how can it be okay and normal for you to have contracts, for you to run into problems paying workers, as I was told many times it would have occurred? Now you're hearing that they don't have the skill. Linden has been known to be one of the most, the highest ranked in Region 10, that is, or of all the regions, in terms of skilled people. We once had that ranking. What has become of our people? Where did they go? If the PPP loves Linden so much, why you can't find laborers in Linden? That's a good question to be asked of y'all, because it doesn't matter how it's spun. It points back to the lack of care and the lack of concern shown by Kashif, Mohammed, and others, your handlers, I call them, the people who control y'all. And so many things are happening. I got a report tonight, by the way. I just want to get this breaking news that they're supposed to be, Central Housing and Planning Authority supposed to be coming and destroy some homes or some structures in Amelia's ward. I'll be on that, and I'll certainly be airing the information as soon as possible. But people were promised house lots, they were promised to be regularized, they were promised so many things. And now they're being told that their homes are going to be, or the structure is going to be destroyed yet again.
Well, not so long ago, the chief executive officer of the Central Housing Authority was up there, Greaves, and he just said exactly what it is, that you guys got to get off the land. They're going to bulldoze it. They're going to do all manner of things. And nobody stepped in to say anything about that. I'm still waiting to hear from the shadow minister of housing on that issue, Miss Annette Ferguson, if she is on. She's been, quite vociferous on other issues. But we want her to focus on her ministry. It is good to focus on other stuff, but on your ministry, the shadow minister of housing cannot say she's not aware of this. She should have already been there in Linden to talk to those people who are going to be affected. The two members of parliament for Linden, for Region 10, should have been there as well. The regional leaders should have been there as well to comfort these people and say that if this happens, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shut the town down. We're going to shut the community down, because without protest, without any action, this demonic PPP regime will feel that they can get away with anything. But we're not surprised at that. Was it 3 years ago they bulldozed a woman's house there, bulldozed other properties, people farmlands and so forth? They got away with it. And so they feel they can get away with more now. How are the people feeling about that? Or you haven't yet talked to them?
I have spoken to one, but we're in conversation now, who, and that's the thing. One individual was a teacher who applied for a house that's in 2019 or somewhere around there, applied formally, was promised a house lot, was promised so many things. And the person, of course, people have to find somewhere to live. So individuals decided they're going to take a spot of land, a plot of land, because they were promised certain things. They failed to deliver, the administration. Now, when the people are living somewhere and trying to build structures, they're being told they have to remove, or they're going to have the structures demolished. Not that they received the house lots or they received the means to survive or live healthily. This is a teacher we're talking about, Mark Light. A teacher is being, today she's under threat of losing a place to lay her head. A teacher. And I don't know how this 10% will help this person now when they bulldoze the property and she has nowhere to go, because she did the right thing. She applied and they failed.
Let me show you this, please. And Mark Light, if you're watching, let me show you this, and our listeners. For those who have just joined us, good night and welcome to Straight Up. Irfan Ali, this is what he got while he was Minister of Housing. Got properties, got lands, all manner of things, but they're going to bulldoze people's land. Look, this was when he was Minister of Housing. He was given 2 plots of land, not 1, 2, up on the Linden Soosdijk Highway. Muhammad Irfan Ali, Bara Jagdeo, when he was the president of Guyana, that is what he gave to his friend Irfan Ali, Muhammad Irfan Ali. Lots 33 and 35. And then that's just 1 plot. That's just what we know that Irfan owns. Irfan Ali owns, according to information, mind you, hundreds upon hundreds of acres of land in Guyana. But yet a teacher and others are being deprived of a plot of house lot. Yet a teacher and others are being described as, squatters. And you have ministers and so forth and officials and their families and their friends and their concubines are squatting on government reserve and all manner of things. I was told that the head of the Guyana Lands and Surveys, that is, I'm told, according to information, Moniz, he will have to answer that his house is currently under reserve, government reserve. So these folks can get away with these things, but the ordinary people, whether in Linden, whether in Mocha or wherever, are being destroyed. Their properties, their crops, everything are being destroyed by this racist, corrupt PPP regime. I don't know, Apostle.
It's sad, and I would continue to hold the conviction that I can't see how my Guyanese brothers and sisters can be called squatters if we own the land. And I will always say that if it's somebody's property they already developed or wherever else it is, or they already pay for it, it's a different story. But any land that's open, in my conviction is you can't call me a squatter because I own it. And if you'd not give him, if worse with the teacher, if she applied for how many years ago, among many other teachers, they applied for a place to build a house. The system failed them. They refused to give them a house lot. Now what are they supposed to do? Go live on the roof somewhere? This is ridiculous.
They don't care.
They don't care about these people.
They don't care about workers. They don't care about anybody. All they care about, according to allegations, is smuggling chicken and smuggling eggs and steal millions, hundreds of millions of dollars from taxpayers. This is an allegation, mind you, of smuggling chicken and eggs and corruption upon corruption. Meanwhile, this is how they're living. This is how they're living. Meanwhile, this is what students have to be subjected to. Take a look at that land report. Take a
Oh
look.
my God.
And these are the people, Apostle, say that they care. They care about young people. They care about Guyana. I don't know. I just don't know. But take a look at this, Apostle. The annual subvention for Linden is $80,000 US for 35,000 residents approximately. What's happening here? $80,000 US per year for the residents of Linden. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised, because the residents in Linden who would say that, or some of them would say that the PPP cares for us, the PPP is developing Linden, the PPP is doing a lot for Linden, but this is what's happening. They don't see that the PPP is single-handedly seeking to destroy the council, the town council, and also the regional democratic council. But Linden, mean the town, they are seeking to establish so much dominance, control, and means by which they're going to cripple us into being subjected to them. Now, that's never going to happen under my watch or under the watch of many people. We are not going to bow to this nonsense at any time in the near future or in the distant future. So I realize that many efforts are being undertaken to cripple us, to hold us hostage. I believe that Linden has the means to sustain herself. Now, people wouldn't like what I have to say. Many of them get trembled when I say this. We have so many roads and roadways and means to access the city, and it's the only way that some people can get to the city. The certain goods and services can get to the city. We have the means of sustaining ourselves. If they cannot do the right thing, then we should employ those means of ensuring that we take care of ourselves. I mean that, because there'll be a ceasing of many businesses if we decide, and then, you know what, you're not passing through unless you do the right thing. All hands would be raised, and many will say that we are terrorists. I don't care what you call us. If you don't do right by us, we have a right to ensure that you do right the next day.
Absolutely. We can't go wrong with that. And this is why we're saying protest is important.
You have to.
You have to. But why do you suppose that people aren't protesting these days?
The lack of leadership, my brother. The lack of leadership is evident. I believe that people who are called leaders, I thought this common sense, they would lead. They will activate within people the cause to do something. But when we have leaders who would almost appear to be sympathetic to the PPP, what do you expect people to do? When you have leaders who cannot, as far as I'm aware, I can't tell. Last day I saw, for example, Member Parliament Figuera being critical of certain things regarding what's being done to us here in Linden. I'm not talking about just talk. I'm talking about being critical in reference even your presence and saying that this is injustice. The bridge is he lives in Wisma. He has to cross the bridge just like me. And we know that the middle span of that bridge is causing a significant issue every day. Sometimes I'm stuck in a line for 20 minutes, half an hour as a businessman. He knows this, and he has not come out of his vehicle, as far as I've seen and remember here, and say, if y'all don't come and fix this middle span of this Mackenzie-Wisman bridge right here, nobody will cross it. He can't even do that. So if we have leaders who do not come forward and defend us.
There's another one. There's an AFC member of parliament. Where was the last?
He may be campaigning. David may be campaigning, right? So we have one. Pardon me.
Probably out when there is sports and party and so forth. That's when you hear from Sears, who is a representative, a member of parliament for the AFC out there in Region 10. And he's quiet too. We hardly hear from those guys.
Hardly. Well, I think he's more spoken from Kokwani, and Ituni in those areas. But I am
there. I know there are folks in Ituni don't see him. The folks in Kokwani don't see him. I think you're going a little soft on Devin Sears.
No, I'm not. For me, like I said, because of where I know Figueroa lives, and he has to use the bridge. His family have to use the bridge. So for me, I would think that the man who uses the bridge more than me would be concerned about what's happening at the bridge. Kokwani is underdeveloped. Kokwani has some serious issues with in terms of how the region is treating or they may treat it up there, the area, teachers, housing, and so on, roads and these things. I don't see them at the MP. Like I said, he may be campaigning. I don't know what's happening here. But Region 10 is trapped in reference to the presence of leaders. And I must say, I'll give credit to Sharma Solomon, who is being about the most vocal of in many cases. He and Vanessa Kisun and others and councillors, they're coming out. Zico, I know him to be, Abdullah. They're coming out and they're standing up and trying to do something. But how much can you do when the members of parliament and the leader of your party seems to be, especially the leader, stuck in statement and press conference mode? So I don't know what else is going to happen here. And please don't tell me people are criticizing.
We can also say folks can also paint the AFC with the same brush, stuck in press conference and press release mode, and roll up and ride in and just hold a rally and disappear. People need leadership too. And not just the PNC that we should rely on and say, what about these other parties? You're not seeing them.
It's a coalition. There's a coalition of people involved.
David Hines is now a presidential candidate and so forth and so on. We're not seeing these guys in the communities doing the things. And we got to be realistic. I mean, people sit down and we could say, yes, where is Aubrey Norton? Fair enough. Where is Aubrey? But what about Nigel Hughes? He's a political leader now. What about David Hines? He's a political leader now. Nigel?
You see, you mentioned my namesake now. As I said, Nigel Hughes may be involved in campaigning, I think, and he's highlighted mainly in the indigenous communities so many of the ills. But my concern is, what about the streets of the city? What about the streets of the town? Can we see your feet on the ground there? Can we see people marching in protest? I don't know if you touch on that, but the harassment the Melly Mills family would have had to experience. Have we seen any street protest?
If the PNC isn't doing it, fair enough. Why doesn't the AFC go out? Let Nigel go out. Let Nigel say, well, look, he's going to stand up. He's going to be that leader. Let him take to the streets, protest. Why doesn't he do it? You're being a little soft on Nigel Hughes,
No, he bears my name, so you have to be careful now. I don't treat Nigel, but only Darmlad. Any other Nigel could pass.
One second, sir. Why doesn't the AFC do it?
Because they are deemed to be, and they're treated as though they are the second party in the coalition. They're not the primary party. They don't have as much weight. I'm trying to think the way they do now. And if they only act contrarily, then maybe Granger can pull so many people out because he's the leader of the list or something like that could maybe in their minds. But I don't believe, me, I don't believe in waiting.
You know why they don't do it? They're afraid to protest. Do you think Nigel Hughes, and Nigel is my friend, do you think Nigel is going to take to the streets and protest?
He better. He had better, because persons are viewing. Persons are viewing.
I like that smirk on your face. We got to take a quick break. I like that, Apostle. I like that.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. And while you try surviving on the public base, then you're going.
People fed up. People fed up of the excuses. People fed up of politicians, political leaders walking into Linden, whole rally, talk, sweet talk, and then disappear. You don't see them back there. You don't see the AFC back there. And we got to be realistic. The leadership of the AFC. You don't see their member of parliament there. There's flooding out in Linden. There's people suffering in Linden. But you don't see the kind of leadership. Forget about the PNC for the time being. Nigel wants to be leader of the country. He has David Patterson there. There's Raphael Trotman. There's Cathy Hughes. What happened? They're so sweet that they can't hit the streets to protest.
Well, as I said, they had better, because most people know, and I think you know my position, and that's why I value you so much as an individual. We both understand the power of standing alone sometimes. I don't think many people now understand that power. Where people know the individual is prepared to stand by himself for a cause that is dear to him. When we have that quality of leadership, people will gravitate towards such a person in great numbers and say, well, okay, then if you could stand against this to represent us, we might as well stand with you. You're not seeing that.
See the contradiction here. 1 second, Apostle. See the contradiction here. People bombs raising. People Bantu King bombs raising. Bantu King said Nigel Hughes is active in the struggle. Nobody said that he's not active. Difference. Then there's a beyond the decor, whoever that is, good night, is agreeing with Bantu King. But what caught my attention here, is the excuses now, beyond the decor, whoever that is saying, Nigel working from the outside. So you get the excuses upon excuses as to why there's no protest. But then the same people who are finding excuses for Nigel Hughes, not protesting, not going into the communities, not going back into Linden during the flooding and so forth and so on. They're finding excuses for him, not doing it, but they're quick to cuss Aubrey because they haven't seen Aubrey in Linden as yet. So which way do they want it? If I don't know which way they want it, but whatever it is, it's looking like a DD kind of comment here. Nigel Hughes is a political leader now. He's got to take the heat. He's got to take constructive criticism. He's a good friend of mine. He's a buddy, but this is politics. The people need strong leadership, not sweet talk leadership, not soundbite leadership that would go at press conferences and only talk and then disappear. The people in Linden need help. The people in Black Bush Polar need help. The people all across Guyana need help.
Yeah, and you see that there's a saying, because I'm a scientist by training, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That's one of the laws of physics. There's an equal and an opposite reaction. So if the PPP, for example, is oppressing us and seeking to be so forceful in how they handle people, there has to be an equal and an opposite reaction to that. We cannot sit around and decide, okay, then if an object is floating without any difference, it continues from the same direction and velocity. That's physics again. But if we apply some force in the opposite direction, then somebody's going to stop. I'm saying that it doesn't matter who the political figure is. There has to be a physical presence, not a press statement, not a press conference. A physical presence that says, for example, with Linden, we're standing here. If you want to knock these people's house down, knock me down first. That's what I'm looking for in leadership in this country. I don't care what party you're from. Represent the cause of people by standing physically in Jagdeal's face and say to him, stop your foolishness or else. That's what I want to see. But I don't know what it will take to see that. Is
there a leader right now, a political leader right now in Guyana that's doing that?
None. Not one of them.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you for your
let me say this because
we need to see that though. Thank you for your honesty. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
I will say something because I had a conversation and I want to put it here because I know that you are not afraid of controversy and certain problems. Somebody asked me a question, and viewers is not to Mr. Ben Shrub said. Somebody asked me the question. They said they observed the East Indian community in Guyana. And it's obvious that for the greater part, Barra Jagdeo leads that community in reference to PP supporters and whatever else it is. And I said, yes, that's true. The fellow then said to me, tell me, Apostle, who for the African descendants in Guyana is a true hardcore leader like Jagdeo's East Indian people? And I said to him, Jagdeo. And the fellow was shocked. I said, because I cannot see how you got Norton being controlled by somebody else. It has to be this man leads everybody. Because you don't want to go to the street, you're afraid to call until police lock you up, apparently. Most African leaders don't want to stand and say we are defending the cause, we're defending against racism, we're defending against economic systematic oppression, we're defending against the wrongs being done with predominantly to African descendants. So we are going to stand, even with what happened to Epadaji and stuff, we stand against it. So I said, well, maybe Jagdeo leads everybody, if you ask me. Because I don't know what they're afraid of.
I gotta give my friend David Hines, Dr. David Hines, credit. He takes that position. He says he's not.
No, he's not here. He's not here. He lives overseas. He's not here.
Dr. Hines, good night to you.
He's my friend, but you're here.
He's not
here. We're talking about on the ground here.
I got you. But trade unionist Lincoln Lewis is not afraid to say that, and he has been saying it. He's the one that coined that term many years ago, economic, and I know this Hazel Johnson has mentioned it, economic genocide. He hasn't been afraid to say it as it is. But
do you hear what he said? He's not afraid to say it. There are too many people who are saying it in Guyana. When you live in Guyana, I don't want to you say, let's go on the road and do it. Because if you say Jack doesn't concern
now you're
anybody,
talking my language. Now you're talking my language. And sometimes I wish I was there on the ground. Seriously.
no, you've done your job,
I'm
Mr. Ben.
I am
You
addicted
have
to
done
protest.
your work. You have done more than enough. You have suffered more than anybody I know in this country. You have done far more. It would be an insult to you for me to tell you have to come here to stand up and talk. Honestly speaking, you have done and endured more than enough.
Some people bums us raised in the audience, you know, they get vexed. I noticed one person, Apostle, is saying here, and we're all a family here on Bench Up Radio. Sometimes we agree with each other, sometimes we disagree. And Bantu King and others, Bantu King, they understand me by now. I don't mean anything harmful. I know Tony Hack is going to come with his hackishness tonight. Good night, Tony Hack. But somebody said earlier, let me go to this comment here. Let me go to this comment here. Somewhere, somebody said the people need to come out. Political leaders of political parties, they run for the leadership on the basis of standing up for your rights. Now, when they get into office, some of y'all who supported these very leaders who don't do much, who don't want to protest, y'all now change this thing around and say, well, the people got to come out. It's the leaders who said that they're going to represent our interest. They're the ones who said it. That is why we voted for them. But now y'all trying to change the goalpost to say that the people must come out. But hold on a second, the people do go out. How many of y'all pay attention? How many of y'all in Guyana go out with the people? Where's my friend Rhonda Lane? Rhonda Lane, where are you?
So if I got children, I must suffer them to take what I don't want to eat for myself. That is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. You're out there in front of GECOM. We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protests every week in front of GECOM.
Tuesday we had 8 persons.
One second, Rhonda. 8 persons. 8 persons, Rhonda Lane, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. And anyone of y'all going Guyana, y'all call Rhonda Lane and bless you up with something, whether a prayer or something. Bless her up. God bless that woman. But you get abusing tonight, Apostle. You get abusing, both of us. Some of them in the audience bumps raise. Here is what Brenda Casey said. You're big abusing for you tonight. You think you're walking out of here easy tonight? Not tonight. We catch you tonight, Apostle. Brenda Casey is saying here, Apostle London protested with Dharam Lal and the young girl who was raped. Has he gone out in front of GECOM? Looks like peace for you tonight. Now, Brenda Casey wants to know if you left all the way from Linden, drive your car for about 2 hours, after all of the protests you've done in Linden,
wow,
what you're doing in Linden to go and protest at GECOM. Oh, man. Looks like peace, though, but respond to her.
Thank you, Ms. Casey. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact that you expect me to be in front of GECOM. However, there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of supporters of the PNC, AFC, who reside in Georgetown and Region 4. I am not one such. I support good governance, and I've said it before. I am not going to be used to lead the way for anybody to gain benefits from me all the time. If Aubrey Norton says tonight that tomorrow he's going to stand in front of GECOM to ensure that Claudette Singh does the right thing, or maybe she has to get out of there in the first place, I'll try to Georgetown, because he's showing he's prepared to lead people. I don't have to be PNC or AFC or PPP, none of that. If you're prepared to say you're going to stand and defend the cause for which you're being paid, I'll join you. But I can't be everywhere at the same time unless you already started paying me a salary. I don't mind. Maybe you pay me Norton's salary and go everywhere you want me to go. If you pay me Norton's salary, I'll be everywhere he is not. And I'll show you how to lead this country in reference to being an official opposition leader. Maybe that's what you all want. But it cannot be a case whereby Kadaki is there and Norton, who is the official leader of the opposition, who stands to benefit the most in reference to those in an electoral process, apart from PPP or whatever. He is not there. We're the members of parliament. How are you asking me to go to GECOM? Where are those who benefit directly from an election period, election process? This is absolutely insane. Where are they?
Roberto Ray, you get your facts straight. Get your fact. Roberto Ray seems like an apologist for Aubrey, and she bumps raising, right? No disrespect there, Roberto, but your bumps raising. But you've made a good point there, though, Apostle, that the people who have been elected, and I voted for these people to represent my interest, and thousands, 220,000 plus people voted for them to, those MPs and leaders to represent their interest. Now, we have a role to play as well, but we are not the ones. You guys shouldn't be calling out Apostle London. Y'all didn't vote for Apostle London to represent y'all interest. Y'all didn't vote for me to represent y'all interest. Y'all voted for those MPs and the leaders and so forth in the opposition to represent y'all interest. They're the ones y'all supposed to be calling out. They're the ones y'all supposed to be vexed with when y'all don't see them at protests. Not Nigel London, not others. Others do it because they care about the country and that they want change in the country. So y'all got to redirect y'all energy and focus in calling out the right set of people. Call out the opposition leader to go out to the streets. Call out Nigel, what's his name? Nigel Hughes. Call out David Patterson. Call out Cathy Hughes. Those are the people y'all supposed to call out. Call them out. Call out all of the MPs. Call them out. And then once people see that these people are doing their job, that they are in front of GECOM, all of them, every single week, and not just once a week, every single day. But no, you know what? The people who are being paid to represent your interest, our interest, are reluctant to go out there and do anything. And then y'all want to throw the weight, y'all want to throw the burden on people who are not elected, people who are not being paid. And now paying is not the issue. But if people in the opposition are being paid to do a job and they're not doing it, and y'all not calling them out, it is unfair for some of y'all to say, Mark, and you know some of y'all get Polaroid vice like, right? Mark, you get caught in the US. Why you don't come back over here and protest? You only talk your little skinny, scrawly tail all the time. Aubrey. And now you jump from Aubrey. You start with Nigel Hughes and David Hines. Come back. Come back. That's what y'all just say. But y'all ain't gonna go and call them out. When was the last time y'all saw a member of parliament protesting in front of GECOM? I'm going to ask you guys this in my Polaroid voice. When was the last time? Y'all talk to me tonight. Y'all bumps raise. Y'all don't like when we call out some of y'all MPs and y'all leaders. Y'all just get vexed. You talk to them, Nigel.
We are 6 months away, just about. You could say anything within a period from a general election, general and regional election. The members of parliament and others from the opposition said that they know that the voters list is bloated. It is significantly bloated. They called for biometrics to be introduced. So you mean to tell me that with 6 months left, you can't find a day to go in front of GECOM to tell Claudette Singh to get it right, honestly speaking? So it means then that just like with local government election, we're going to campaign and just rush into an electoral process, then say, oh, the list is bloated, so we got a problem. People are not serious about this. And there's certain things I don't play with. When it comes to dealing with the likes of GECOM, it is my firm conviction that if the opposition has three commissioners, three, not one, they need to be very, very significant steps being taken. They should be for us to see their presence in front of GECOM, for us to see that they're going to do something about GECOM and cause the PP to be on the back foot because of what they're doing. This is not about me. There's certain areas in which I can play a significant role. This cannot be one of them because there has to be the presence of those, I say again, who are paid to do this. I have shut down work sites. People don't know these things, and I don't talk about it like that. The people who rely on me for a job, I have shut down the work site in construction many times to go to Georgetown to do these things for days at a time, losing millions of dollars. What has Norton done when I was on the road doing it? We have to be serious about this. There has to be a time when you say, let us sit as a people and address what the problem is. And the problem that we have is that people are being paid to do something, they're not doing it. And then we're going to say, well, let's identify those who we think should be doing it and label them as the ones who are failing. No, more than that, for local government, I advised publicly the PNC to not participate. If you say the list is bloated and you cannot go and participate in an activity including a bloated list. You think they care and listen? Jagdeo came out and apologized for rigging on behalf of those people who signed some dead person's name. And I said, you see the evidence right here? Imagine if they could do it for local government. What would they have not done in 2020? You think they care? They went into the election still. So if they don't want to listen to people's advice, what do we do?
Here another blind follower. His name is Sean Anthony Ben. He said you don't have to see and know everything that Norton is doing. Hold on a second. This is my cousin, but I'm willing to give him the donkey tonight. Right? Imagine you have an opposition leader, that's someone like Sean Anthony Ben saying you don't have to know and do anything and everything. Is it that we're saying? Sean Anthony Ben, why do you guys always find excuses? Why your albums race up quick? Furthermore, look, Sean Anthony Ben is my cousin, but tonight you're gonna get it. Good night to Sean. Sean, I understand what he's saying, but what we are saying here tonight, Sean, nobody hates your leader. Nobody hates Aubrey. Aubrey's a friend of mine, right? But we are constructively critiquing these guys, and we're saying do more. Nobody's saying that Aubrey isn't doing anything, but we need to see more. It needs to be done. That is politics, Sean. Yeah. It is not body workshop or mechanic. It is politics. We need to see more that he's doing. We don't need to see all, but we need to see more. It is politics, my friend Sean. And Sean is a blood cousin of mine, and I'm not afraid to give him the donkey of the year. All right, he looked for that. He walked right into that. Donkey for him. And if he comes again, you're going to get a donkey too. Apostle, you were making a point, because I want us to move on to at least some other subjects before we go.
Okay. Yeah, no, my point is that we're 6 months away from an election. It doesn't seem as if the alarm bells are ringing out in people's head. I want to see Guyana be governed properly. Guyana must have a healthy, vibrant opposition. Even if it's the PPP, they must be healthy, they must be vibrant if they're in opposition. You need that. You need it for good governance in your country. So we cannot be 6 months away. Persons have an issue with the voters list. They entered into the local government election with the same nonsensical voters list. And then they're saying that people rigged. You encouraged it. Because you should not have been there in the first place.
Sean Anthony Ben and them, talk to them, because we know that there's a problem with the list. It has to be addressed. When the PPP, when they were in the opposition, all three of the commissioners at GECOM, it was Gunraj, Says Gunraj, it was Robeson Ben, and it was the late Baby Shadi. Every day or every other day, guess what they're calling? Press conferences upon press conferences upon press conferences to challenge GECOM in order to get what they want. We hardly hearing from the three commissioners. When was the last time you heard from Charles Corbin? He's a commissioner at GECOM. Good night to Charles if he's watching. When was the last time we heard from Desmond Trotman? He's a commissioner at GECOM. Occasionally we'll hear from Vincent Alexander. But when was the last time they've held a press conference to let us know that they're confronting the system there in GECOM on our behalf? Something is wrong. But when we talk about it, some of them in the audience bumps raise. As soon as this show is done, people like Sean Anthony Ben and them, they're going to get a group call amongst each other, and they're going to cuss the two of us. So if you start sneeze a lot tonight, know where it's coming from. Sean Anthony Ben and his crew. Now,
I
let
don't
us move
mind.
on to another issue. What is your take, Apostle, on this cartoon that appeared in today's Stabrook News attacking the magistrate, a senior magistrate, all because she is ill and she has not attended to the case pertaining to the PPP's version of electoral fraud brought against people like Miss Myers, Roxanne Myers, and Lowenfield and others. Your take on this cartoon, sir?
The cartoonist should be brought to the court and should be made to speak to the magistrate. He should be made to apologize and probably be held in contempt to some extent for disrespecting an officer of the court. Because this cannot be taken lightly. This has been circulating, I guess thousands upon thousands of copies have already been out there. The magistrate has every right, as every other human being, to be unwell. It's a normal thing that happens to people. And maybe she's not doing that which people expect or want her to do in certain circles, but give her an opportunity to hear the matter. Last I checked, there was a special prosecutor called Hanuman who said that he has 700, I think, witnesses, eyewitnesses, to confirm that Mingo rigged. He can't present 2 yet. And you want to make a cartoon or a piece about a magistrate? Make a piece about Hanuman then. Where show us 200 or the 700, or that's a failing number still.
It was Ramdin, not Hanuman. Or was Hanuman?
It was Hanuman. The special prosecutor was Hanuman. Initially.
Okay.
He said that initially that they have 700.
Glenn Hanuman.
Right. That they have 700 witnesses. Where are they? But this is disrespect. The disrespect for our members of the judiciary is glaring. And Stabrook News has to be called to the fore for this. The editor must be chided for this. This is disrespectful to women.
But you know that, stretch it a little further. They seem very comfortable at Stabrook News with these cartoons depicting black women in a certain light.
I was about to say that.
The fact that they have done this to this magistrate has a lot to do with her ethnicity. Your take?
I was about to say that because it seems as if the means now to entertain the public or have certain messages sent that are negative in nature has to come through the disrespect of African descendants, females and males, especially women. Now, when will this nonsense stop? This has to be, Stabrook News must be called out. Why are our females, now this is a magistrate, somebody who would have gone through law school and things of that nature. Now look at how disrespectful they are to her. She's one step below a judge, chief magistrate and stuff like that. But look at what they're doing to this lady. All because she's not acting in a manner that pleases them. So whoever the chief or the editor-in-chief is, that person, even the owner of Stabrook News, you must be made to answer for this, because this is ridiculous. In the atmosphere we found ourselves, the ethnically charged atmosphere, it cannot be okay for you to keep disrespecting African descendants. Kadaki was labeled a Negro in 2024. I don't know when this nonsense is going to stop.
And not only that, look at what they continue to do, this magistrate. Jagdev attacks her. The Attorney General, Anil Nandalal, attacks her. And so they're quite comfortable doing this. Maybe because, of course, a female and she is of African descent. But not only that, the attack isn't overnight. Remember what they did to Roxanne Myers?
Yes. Yes, I cannot forget.
Elections officer. She was shackled and she was locked up for 72 hours. You see how they're disrespectful to women of African descent?
I can't forget.
The women in Mocha. You saw what they did to the women in Amelia's ward when they bulldozed their homes. You see what they're doing to the magistrate now. You see what they're doing to attacking the family members of Melissa Atwell, also known as Melly Mel. You know, the PPP has a history of attacking and brutalizing women of African descent.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they did to Donna McKinnon? Do you recall that story, Apostle?
Yes, robbed by Freedom House. She was shot and killed.
They slaughtered her in front of Freedom House.
Freedom House.
There's a history of that. They beat women, they shoot them with pellet bullets and lock them up and all manner of things. I can personally attest to that. Not from my standpoint, but what they've done in terms of dragging and dashing in the back of a police vehicle my ex-wife. They have done that. All of these things, they have a history of doing these things. So these things that they're doing now it's nothing new. It is a pattern. And at some point in time, it has got to stop, because enough is enough. I am not saying that they should treat other women of other ethnicity in this barbaric way. I'm not saying that. But why they only treat women of African descent like that? And then when we speak out about these things, we're described as racist and call me all you want to call me. But we have to speak out about these things, whether it's against women of African descent or women of East Indian descent. It doesn't matter. Wrong is wrong. And what they've done to people, women like Roxanne Myers and others. I don't know if you recall the name Carol Ann Monroe, charged with treason, a fake treason charge. And for over a year, they shackled that woman, foot shackles, and placed her, dumped her in a filthy cell at the New Amsterdam prison on a trumped up treason charge. So the history and the pattern of the PPPC, it has always been there. Now they've gone to planting drugs, whether it's marijuana or whatever. First, they start to kill. They beat up. They shoot with pellet bullets. They drag at the back of a vehicle. They dump these women in the lockups and all manner of things. Apostle Nigel, it's got to stop. At some point in time, it has got to stop. But the thing with us, we keep saying enough. Every time it happens, oh, enough is enough. Oh, enough is enough. Nobody's belling the cat. The leaders aren't willing to bell the cat. They're waiting for somebody else to bell the cat. Their supporters are waiting for somebody else to bell the cat, whilst they're finding excuses upon excuses upon excuses. And those same supporters who are saying the people got to go out, they themselves don't go out. They're renting Guyana and they're saying, y'all only calling an opposition leader and MPs to go out. Let the people go out. And some of them, they're right there in Guyana, they don't go out, they don't protest, they don't do nothing. You think my cousin Sean Anthony Ben, he can go out and bell any cat? He can go out there and protest? No, he's not going out nowhere. He'd rather run and eat a truck and fix a truck or fix a car. He's not going anywhere. He's a big bluff. Those who are saying that the people should go out are bluffs. And I say that not to be disrespectful to them, but it's the truth. They're bluff. That is why I respect people like Rhonda Lane. Rhonda, if you're watching, we love you. And we respect, we salute you for what you do. You got more courage, bravery than 1,000 Sean Anthony Ben and the others whose bumps are raised right now in the audience.
You stir up a whole storm, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Roxanne, one of the women was menstruating, and I'm sorry for being so grotesque. But the police didn't even allow her to change. I think one of the females who was arrested in that election story. It was that bad. These people have got no regard for African descendants. It's obvious. It's obvious. And this is where the opposition becomes so critical. This is where the opposition becomes so effective if they stand in the right posture. Because enough has been done to your people for you to see that there's a justifiable reason for you to act. And that's the whole point here. There is enough being done to your supporters for you to act. I don't ask them to act for me because I'm not a supporter or a party member or anything like that. But the people who voted for you, do something for them. Stand up for them. In Linden, as I say, if it rains for 20 minutes while I talk to you now, I can promise you if I go to Silvertown, it's flooded. If I go to Caro, it's flooded because they're not even dredging the mouth of the creek. It's terrible what they're doing to us as a people.
Look at what they drag all these people on fake. I heard Jagdeer earlier talking about SOPs and that Aubrey Norton should show his SOPs. Why should Aubrey Norton show his SOPs? The PPP is in control of all the SOPs. They're afraid to open the SOPs, the boxes, because Jagdeo and them know that they have rigged the elections. But every single time they're persecuting these people for over 4 years now. And enough is enough. But every time they go to court, it's like Jagdeo and Anil and them, they want these people to go to jail. But
That's what they want.
was charged 19 fraud charges. Why didn't they send Irfan Ali to jail? Jagdeo himself should have been in jail right now, hugging up with Didi. Well, or Johnson and Johnson. These people just don't care. Concerning the magistrate now, I wrote to the elections, what is it, the Ethnic Relations
Commission.
Look, they need to apologize. They need to do something, force the Stabrook News to apologize for this. It is racist. It is disrespectful. Well, let's see what they're going to do about that. Look at this in Georgetown. Look at this in Georgetown. Look at back PPP again. PPP
oh my
again.
Lord.
City Hall now, City Hall to ask government for bailout. City Hall, they want the mayor and the deputy mayor, whoever the deputy mayor is, don't even hear whatever. They want these people at Georgetown City Hall to go on their knees and beg them. Oh, y'all clean the city up now. Oh. Apostle London, your take on this as we look at the time, sir.
Little Dubai is now what Ali said will be. Now I wanted to show us where in the city itself, the city, you can find this in Dubai. This speaks to how the PPP functions in reference to destroying anything. Look at Durban Park. I drove there yesterday. I looked at it and I said, imagine they're going to build all of these roads and they're doing all kind of stuff, but Durban Park, they let it run all the way down just to say Granger wasted money. Likewise, look at City Hall. It was the PPP, if people don't know that, who allowed that building to come to ruin because they want Hamilton Green to be out. The PPP will destroy anything if they believe they don't have absolute control over it or you're not doing what they want. That is the nature of the PPP you're dealing with. They don't have an issue with the capital city looking this way because after all, PNC controlling us, so let's destroy it. It's just unfortunate that Guyanese cannot see this in the numbers that are enough for them to act on it. Or maybe they're seeing it, but they're just afraid to act on it. Or maybe they're seeing it and they're waiting for an election to be called and then they put their hand in indelible ink and then they'll act. Probably one of those things will happen. My only hope is that it's not too late when it does happen.
Let us hope it's not too late. And these people, the PPP Pakus, they feel if they capture some of these enablers, hustlers, and put everybody behind a truck because they feel that everybody, you want to see the opposition supporters, you want me trick them? There's what Jagdeo and them saying. Let me go and capture the likes of individuals who hold party through this and thing. And you're going to see how many of them are going to be behind a truck and whining and dancing up. And I don't know if you do this, Apostle, but I know you can do a little shake, right? And that is what they want. And then they hug and they capture those individuals, throw little crumbs at them, and they hope that next Labor Day on the parkway, as they prepare for elections, the people going up on the parkway doing this, jamming up, or they're going to carry some entertaining Guyana to wine and dance and backball and forget about the misery, forget about the egg smuggling, forget about the chicken smuggling, forget about the big cocaine bust out in Region 1 where a commander is alleged to have been involved. Forget about all those things. They don't go and kick down the door and search the homes of drug lords, known drug lords in the country, but they're going to go pick on a poor 87-year-old lady and her daughter. Happens to be the grandmother and the mother of social media influencer Melly Mel. In order to get back at Melly Mel, to be spiteful, that is what is happening in the country right now. But before we go, take a look at this. This guy is the officer said to have headed that team. His name is Singh, ASP Singh. ASP Singh get a bunch of controversies, allegedly. When he was in Berbice, I believe it was 2020 or sometime, there was an allegation of statutory rape. An allegation of statutory rape. The man had to go and borrow $100,000 allegedly to pay this guy, this ASP Singh, to pay him to finish the matter. Allegations, and I'm sure the chairman, then chairman of the Police Complaints Authority, maybe he has knowledge about these things, I don't know, but it is alleged that that is what this guy did. Then he was at narcotics branch, controversy. Everywhere he goes, controversy. So can he answer the question now whether this was a deliberate attempt to plant some marijuana or whatever in the home of Melly Mel's grandmother, 87-year-old lady, and her mother? Plant it. But yet Jack Deere, with his usual comical self, at his press conference say, who is going to want to plant? Jack Deere, shut up. That is what you guys do. Jack Deere believes, they said they don't hurt people under the PPP. Let me remind him what they did to Ronald Waddle. Ronald Waddle was assassinated under the PPP regime as a result of the PPP bad and racist leadership. Courtney Crummy Wing assassinated. Hundreds of young men killed, murdered under the PPP regime. So many people were wrongfully incarcerated on trumped-up charges. Some people spent years in prison. Some spent years in solitary confinement. People were tortured, all manner of things under the PPP regime. Trumped-up treason charges against mainly all persons of African descent. A female, never in the history of Guyana, a female was ever charged with treason. But Carol Ann Monroe was charged, spent over a year in prison in shackles. All of these things under the corrupt PPP regime. But yet he felt comfortable sitting there at a so-called press conference, pretending as though the PPP doesn't do these things. The thing about this, though, Apostle London, is members of the media sat right there and had nothing to say to Jack Deere about that, to correct him, to ask him about those things that happened under his stewardship. Treason charges, sedition charges, all manner of things. Nobody was charged for treason under the coalition. No one was charged for sedition under the coalition. No one was assassinated under the coalition. All of those things happened under the PPP regime. A party that is notorious for rigging elections. All of these things I'm saying, that those who are in the opposition, the elected members of parliament and officials, have to get the balls. They got to grow the balls to fight back and to stand up and to confront Jack Deere with his lies. Are they doing it? For the most part, no. Your closing remarks, please, Apostle.
I appreciate it. Thank you. My closing remarks would be on the latter part of your statement. I believe that Jack Deere should have been tried for treason on many occasions. One being during the election period when he said that if Granger were to be sworn in, he would cause or make Guyana ungovernable. He threatened the well-being of the state, and that is treasonous. When he said he was considering just arbitrarily giving some port, some entryway to Venezuela out to the maritime region, that is treasonous.
1 second before they say that is propaganda. 1 second, Apostle.
Thank you.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area.
You heard it. Continue, sir.
That didn't go to Parliament. He was seeking to have an adjustment made to our map. That's the decision that has to be taken by 2/3 of the Parliament. Maybe a referendum and all. This man should be tried for treason in many instances. That's not talking about the Sioux situation where people talk about, and he started and stammered. He didn't have to go through a polygraph test or anything to prove on any intense investigation. So I would like to close by saying that those who are known to have caused our country to be in the chaos it is at this time should be the first to be before the citizenry and be tried probably in the court of public opinion, where they're all found guilty in many instances. I would like to encourage our brothers and sisters, even those of you who are as upset as you are right now by this conversation. I think that more of you can understand the cause for the conversation. No one is speaking about hating any individual in the opposition or anywhere. But I despise Jagdeo and others. But in reference to opposition leader North and others, there's nothing personal here. There's a cause, and the cause is that the nation has to be governed properly, and that includes the effective running of the official opposition. I would like to implore you all to take a stance that'll be memorable. Take a stance that your children will look back on you to say that at least you stood for something in their best interest. Guyana has got too much to lose if you remain quiet. Thanks again, Mr. Benchop. I appreciate being here with you.
Thank you so much, Apostle Eliakim. And you've been absent a while from Benchop Radio, but you haven't been absent in the eyes and in the sight of people. You still continue to stand up and speak.
It's a pleasure.
Speak out against injustices. And you don't necessarily have to jump in your vehicle to drive all the way to Georgetown to protest. You have done so on numerous occasions. And I thank you personally for that, because I like fighters. I like people who are brave. And people who are fighters and people who are brave should be leaders of our country, not pussycats. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Bless you. Thanks.
To all of our listeners, thank you there, Apostle Eliakim. And to all of our listeners, tonight has been, what is it, an hour and a half? It's been a night where bumps raised, bumps went down, bumps raised back again. But we are like a family. Not every night we're going to agree with each other. And not every night we're going to disagree with each other. That is the nature of democracy. We agree to disagree, and we keep it respectful here. We don't raise our bumps like Francine Cruz and go on bad and misbehave and all these sort of things. I've disagreed with some of you guys here on the issue. One particular person got the donkey tonight. That person deserves it, but that donkey was meant in a nice humor against that person. Brenda Casey says we never agree. That is true, because Brenda Casey bumps raises for every single thing. She said, you don't start no war, you get no war. Good night to you guys. God bless all of you. Marla, by the way, Marla Alicock, I noticed, is celebrating her birth anniversary tonight. Happy birth anniversary. Marla Alicock is with us every single night right here on 107.1 FM. Every single night she's here with us. So take this moment and wish her a happy birthday. And if there's anyone else out there celebrating their birth anniversary, happy birthday. We know Sean Anthony Ben, his birthday is on April 1st, and we know why. We know why, guys. All right. You know, God bless all of you. If you're going through some sort of hardship, our prayers are with you. If you've lost a loved one, our condolences on your behalf. And let me say, while I smile with you guys, my sister, my biological sister, she has lost her husband a couple days ago. And so we have that in our family to deal with as well. But yet I found the time out to be with you guys right here. I find the time out to be with you guys. And so those members of parliament who are being paid to represent your interests should find the time to be with you too. And so let me say to my sister, Sonia, we love you, we are with you, and condolences on behalf of her husband's family as well. All right, so I'm out of here. God bless you all. Be back tomorrow. God spare life. I'll be back with all of you. Take care. God bless you.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. hurt your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They done drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she
there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
So, my relationship? Nothing. He is.
Yeah, my name is Justin T. Caldata, Francis C. Wakenham, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my ex next to the cop. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.